Hey everybody, I recently purchased a liquid transfer pump, and I sort of jokingly call it my power water changer, but it turns out it's not so much of a joke as I thought it was. I didn't spend a lot of money on it. I'll put a link down below if you're interested. I only paid I think $13 for it, and I got it almost as sort of like a gag gift to myself. A friend of mine and I have joked for years about doing a power water change using like a shop vac or something like that. And so this thing, when I saw it, I had to laugh because it's like sort of a mini scaled down version. It's basically some batteries go in the handle, it's a pump, you stick this end in the water or whatever fluid you're trying to transfer, and then it's got a hose that you stick into another, wherever you're trying to dump the water into. So one of the reasons I'm sort of awkwardly dangling that in front of the camera rather than just showing it to you is because I'm sitting cross-legged on the floor in front of this tank, and that gives you an idea of how we are literally sitting right here on the floor. So doing a water change in this tank is kind of a pain in the butt. It's not real good at siphoning. It's also sitting on the lower deck of a tank stand. This is actually where I'm supposed to have my fish food and, possibly a small filter down here, something like that. But I've got another tank sitting down here. And so opening this lid and getting in there with the gravel vac is very difficult. It's really difficult to change the filter back there, so I have no filter pad in it. That just basically circulates the water. There's no actual filter for me to bother changing. And doing the siphon, it was difficult not only just to get the gravel vac in through this little gap. I'd have to pretty much lay it in sideways and then turn it. And then you've got no real gravity fall here for the siphon to work. So this works very easily. I can just stick it right on down in there and push that button and pump some water out of it. And I can either do it into gallon jugs and do a gallon at a time, or I can do it into a 5-gallon bucket. It doesn't matter because I don't have to worry about gravity. It's not being siphoned out of the tank. It's being actively pumped out of the tank. And it makes doing a water change on this tank really easy. When I put these new fish in here, I've got some some flying foxes in here. I just shot a video about them explaining how they're not Siamese algae eaters. They actually are flying foxes. So when I did the water change before I put these fish in here, it's the quarantine tank, but I haven't used it in a long time, and it was getting really, really scummy and a lot of growth on the inside of it. And so not only was I able to do a quick water change, the smaller stuff, I wouldn't use it as a gravel vac, but the smaller stuff like the mulm and the little bit of algae and stuff, this end is fairly open and the impeller is right there. So little tiny stuff will get sucked up and out. These vents on the side here also allow water to get sucked in on the side. And again, algae and mulm and like the crud swirling around in the water comes out just fine. Little bits of gravel get up in there and it's going to jam the impeller and everything, and you're not going to have a good time. So don't use it as a gravel vac, but it worked really well to suck all of the sort of scummy stuff out of the tank. I didn't get in there and wipe the glass down. I didn't wipe any of these plants or anything down. I just sort of banged the end of it. I just kind of used it as a wand and sort of banged on them and knocked it loose. And as it swirled around in the water, I was able to vac it right on out of there with this thing. So for the $13 or $12 or whatever I paid for it, I've really had a lot of good use out of it so far. I've also been able to do, let me see if I can actually get up with my old crickety bones here. This tank is another tank that almost is on the floor. It's inches off the floor. And doing a water change on this one was not difficult, but it was unusual. What I would do is I would take the outflow of the pump here, and I would just sit a small cup or a measuring cup or something under that and let it fill up, and then I would scoop it out, and then I'd do it again until it filled up, and I'd scoop it out. And I would basically let the tank pump itself out a cup at a time. So now I can take my little pump wand and stick it down in there and just push a button and pump out as much water as I want. When I'm done, I'm done. And then just bring a bucket in and fill the tank back up. So again, what sort of seemed to be like a little gag gift for myself. That's a better look at it. Again, 2 D-cell batteries go in the top. It's got a simple button. I don't know if you can hear that or not. but it's almost silent. Pumps about a gallon a minute, something like that. It's not a, you know, you're not going to put a fire out with it unless it's a very small fire. It's not a fire hose, but it will do a great job at doing a water change in one of these small tanks that's low to the ground that you've got a hard time getting a siphon going, or for whatever reason you've got sort of an awkward tank. This pump works really well. So again, I'm really happy with it. I will put a link down below if you're interested in it. Again, 12, 13 bucks on Amazon, something like that. Totally worth every penny. So make sure you're subscribed. I got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm going to try to get some more videos shot tonight, but I don't know if and when that's going to happen. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that. And we got some more good stuff coming up here on the waterfall tank pretty soon. So thanks again for watching this one. I'll see you real soon in the next one.